hands together and just give them a little swirl, a shimmy off of one another. And as you do this, start to take a few deep breaths and just sort of feel the surface of the hands. You can go slow and get a different feeling, or go a little quicker and get a different feeling. Welcoming yourself into your space, and then just give your hands a little shake and rest the hands one over the other on top of the heart. And you can trust where your hands land. You don't need to overthink the physical location. It might be a little higher on the heart or lower. And just kind of magnetizing into this heart space. And before we really dive into posture or any alignment, I invite you to just settle in and feel exactly as you are in this moment. Let's take about a minute of silence to breathe and sense and observe. You might find in this time a gentle realignment, physically, mentally, emotionally. And drop your hands slowly, running them down the body, right in front of the solar plexus. Pause here for a moment, noticing its properties, perhaps a warmth. Feeling how the breath gently presses into the hands as you feel your belly moving, drawing in fresh inhalation and releasing expiration. And then dropping the hands down the body so that they end up on the lower abdomen, the lower dantian, the cauldron that's said to hold all of your vitality, like the well of your life energy inside of you. You might consider this space, any of the spaces truly of the body, but especially here in the well, to be a sacred space. Taking a moment to breathe and observe. Maybe there's a word, maybe there's an image, maybe there's something that comes into your awareness as you move between these 3 points: the heart, the solar plexus, and the lower abdomen. And feeling the alignment of these 3 points. You don't have to do anything, just bringing your awareness inwards into the body and recognizing the natural alignment. And then just let go of the hands and let the hands run down the legs, tracing the thighs and then landing the backs of the hands on the knees. palms up like you're holding a cup in each hand. Let's bring some attention now into the posture, feeling the elbows wing a bit so that you find a softness in the shoulders, and invite a broadness across the chest. The 3 points of heart, solar plexus, lower abdomen stacking, and adding a 4th point at the crown of the head, and a 5th point at the base of the seat. In balance. With one more quiet moment to appreciate the stillness and silence and the gifts that come from that in our morning practice. Bring your fingers into the palms, rolling them in, making a little fist. And start to squeeze up the arms, the forearms, the biceps, the shoulders, the chest. Squeezing everything here in the upper body. Your shoulders might draw up, the chin might even tense a bit, eyes. And then release it all as you exhale. Softening back into that meditative seat. We'll do that a couple more times and go slowly as you start to draw this energy tightly into the body. Fingers draw in, forearms, biceps, shoulders, chest, back, neck, face. Squeeze and breathe. And then on an exhale, release it all. One more time, slowly start to draw in the fingers, squeeze the arms, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And release. Sweep your arms up and out, coming up to the sky. And stretch your spine as you reach up through the fingertips. You might even take a kind of an organic morning stretch as you reach up through fingers. You might circle your wrists a bit and lean a little side to side. And release. Arms come out wide and down. Bring the fingertips behind you. Either palms down or rest on the fingertips. And then lift up through the chest. Lifting up through the chin. Shoulders are drawing back so the chest and heart can be open, throat open. And bring the chin back in, walk the hands back to center, and let's find K27 to begin the wake up routine. Start to tap, thump on these 2 points right beneath the collarbone, deepening your breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. To the center of the sternum, thymus thump. Spleen points on the side of the ribs. A little shake through the hands, lightly tap beneath the eyes, stomach points. Continue to tap around the eyes, especially on the outer corners and inner corners of the eyes. And into an intuitive tap onto the scalp, all over the head. And if your tapping takes you anywhere else on the body, follow that energy. This for about 3 more deep cleansing breaths. Start to bring your tapping to a close. Shake off the hands. Let the hands rest on the knees. Reach your right arm up. On an exhale, let it drop down to the right thigh. Left arm comes up. Drop it to the thigh. Right arm up. And drop. One more time. Left. And drop. Bring both arms up. Cactus shape. Take a breath in here and then start to cross crawl, opposite hand to thigh. One more breath. Slow down. Bring the hands right in front of the pubic bone. A moment to set an intention for this Thursday, the first Thursday in August. Following up the full moon, perhaps releasing or inviting in something new for this month or for the second half of this year, or just for this moment. Take the time to allow this word, visual, energy to come into your awareness. Spend some time with it here in the well at the belly. And we'll draw up this creative energy along with your intention. So as you take your next inhale, sweep this energy right up the front of the body, overhead, and exhale to sweep your arms out and wide, circling around. 2 more times. Inhale, drawing up like a fountain, coming up from that well and spreading out all around you. 1 more time. Middle fingers coming to belly button and third eye. Press in, draw up for 3 more breaths. Inviting integrity into the spine, into your structure. A connection wrapping around the body. Hands come back down to the knees. And then let's go ahead and just take a little neck movement here, dropping the chin to the chest and taking a little half roll side to side, drawing an ear towards the shoulder, wrapping around other way. And you'll find your own pace and depth. Maybe feels good to even roll the neck all the way around. If you do go all the way around, balance out in both directions. You might move your jaw around if there's any tension here in that connection point. Then starting to bring your head back to center, rolling the crown of the head up, aligning it over the root of the body. Take a gaze over your right shoulder. Take a full breath here, moving into a yogic breath in and out through the nose. Come through center, look over your left shoulder. Just the neck moving, shoulders and lower body stay anchored. And coming back through the middle, look up towards the sky. Your chest will lift a bit. And down to the earth, chin tucks in, back might round just a little bit. And then coming back to center. Let's bring the feet underneath of us and come into a yogi squat. Take your time as you come into position. Always an option to have a block underneath of the seat or padding underneath of the heels. Aligning the body. So good for hips and ankles and knees. And when you feel steady here, you can bring your palms together, elbows pressing into the knees. Long spine, breathing into that low belly. And then bring your hands down to the earth and lift up your hips. Heels pivot out slightly as you come into a forward fold. Again, blocks might be helpful, especially here on our first one. So the feet are a little wider, letting the neck sway yes, no. And just give the tops of your feet a little squeeze here. Inside and outside edges of the feet, getting a squeeze. Shake out the hands. You might squeeze the hands a bit, just giving them a little activation down those fingertips. We're going to come back down to the seat, and then you can actually almost find like a loose Baddha Konasana, loose cobbler's pose, or a loose cross-legged seat. And we're going to massage the feet and hands here. So you can drop a few bits of oil into your hands if you'd like, or just dig in and start exploring the area all around the feet. You could clear the gates if you'd like, or you might just find some areas like in the arches of the feet that could use a little love. Little squeeze at the tip of each toe. And we're going to continue up the tendon guard, the Achilles, and just using your fingers to move up even to the calves. You can sense if there's anything that's a little tender or sore here, the shins. And then really digging in the back of the calf, the really fleshy area. You might need to draw your knees together to access this. We'll find the gallbladder points right behind the knee. And then stomach 36, we'll give that a little rub here, just helping all of that energy flow down through the legs. And give a little shake, and we'll just massage the hands a bit again too. So giving a little rub in the long bones of the hands. Clearing gates and pinching the tip of each finger. Might be a little sore or tired this morning, so just taking it easy and maybe just even stretching them out a few times. Rolling them around like playing a piano. And then shake it off, and we're going to come back into that yogi squat. So bringing the feet underneath of you. We're not going to be here for long. We're going to come back into our forward fold, so hands can stay in front of you, and then lift up the hips. Outside edges of the feet are parallel. Take your deep fold here, letting the head go. You might hold on to opposite elbows. You might rest elbows on the thighs. The important part here is to just come into connection with your breath. Okay, one more time we're going to come to sit here before we make our way all the way up. And this time as you sit, extend your legs forward. And we're going to massage the large and small intestines. So using fists or fingertips and really digging in to the inner and outer thigh, all the way from hip to knee. Really dig in for this one. Find that point where where it's a little uncomfortable, maybe a lot uncomfortable in certain points. Helping the body naturally detoxify and eliminate, especially on those outer thighs. And once you feel complete with that, you can smooth your legs either down or up, depending which way is more beneficial for you today. If you need to help things move down, obviously you rub down. If you need to kind of firm things up, rub up. Maybe it's a balance of both. And then one more time, we'll come to our forward fold. So bringing your feet back underneath of you. A good exercise to be getting up from low on the ground. And we'll come right into the fold. So you can lift up your hips. Notice if you actually fold a little bit further after we clear those points. Right? It makes more space in the belly and relaxes the belly so that we can fold a little deeper through the hips. Now bring your fingers to K1. Roll to the outside edges of the feet. Give that a little pulse. We're going to trace up kidney. So flattening the hands on the feet and tracing behind the ankle bone. Drawing up from the earth all the way up the front of the body to K27 beneath collarbones. Give that a little buzz. And then reach your arms up to the sky and flick the fingers. Energy from below to above. Nice deep breath. And let your arms come down by your sides. Bring them together at the heart in prayer. Feet come underneath of you, connecting heaven and earth. Bend the knees, little squat, and then breathe in and reach the arms apart. Exhale back to center and switch. Hold the breath in for just a moment as you stretch. And exhale through center. Let's go one more time to the right. Exhale one more time to the left. And then dive that top hand all the way down into your forward fold. Let the head go, little sway at the bottom. Start to roll the hands, rolling up the front of the body, rolling up through those points that we've been aligning. And then like a waterfall at the top, open up your arms, let that all cascade over top of you. Celtic weave right down the front of the body until the hands get back by the hips. Good, let's move to our belt flow here, wrapping around the left side of the waist, tracing over to the right, enjoying this little twist and flow. See if you can make it almost like a Qigong kind of movement, nice and slow. On this third one, we'll go down the outside of the leg. You might not even touch the body. Come up spleen, right up the center of the body. Again, you might not even touch the body. Anchoring in into the sides. Switch sides, belt flow from right to left. All that waist and hip energy. Let's go down the outside of the left leg and bring it back up the inseam. Flare out at hips, up to shoulders, down to the sides. Yin Yang meridian clear, sweep the arms up. Right hand comes over the left, go down the backs of the arms, backs of shoulder blades. Unhook the elbows at the waist. Cross the hands over and then run down the outsides of the legs and off the toes. Come back up the middle. Inhale, spleen. All the yin even coming up those inseams. Sweep the arms up and over. Left hand on top. Slide down backs of the arms, shoulder blades, across the belly, down the legs. And from here, we're going to come into a chair pose. So bringing your feet right underneath of you, sitting down and back and reaching the arms up. See if you can sit a little lower there, like you're trying to squat onto one of those kindergarten-style potties. Those are funny to see. From the chair, keep the firm chair here, and then sweep your arms around to the Ming Man point and start to circle around the low back. Keep your hips shifted back so you can still look down and see your toes. And then stand all the way up. Use the strength of the legs. Pause the circling. Dip down towards sacrum, up and over hips. Flip the palms at the hip flexors. And drawing up and around the torso, up the neck, around the mouth, 3 audible breaths. A burst of a release. Sliding down the neck, over top of the heart. A pause at the sea of tranquility. Notice how you feel in this moment. Let the hands come back down to the sides. You can give them a little shake actually. And then again, bring your hands together and rub them together, this time for the purpose of generating some heat. Shake it off, place them over your forehead, eyes, and cheeks, palming the eyes. And then start to massage right in the center of the forehead. Trace across the eyebrows to the temples and behind the ears, going down triple warmer. A little squeeze on top of the shoulders. And exhale, slide the hands over top of the heart. Bring the hands back up to the center of the forehead. Press in, pull apart, moving into a crown pull. Moving back onto the hairline, press in, pull apart. And continue down the center of the skull, taking your time, stretching apart, opening up. All the way down the neck until you get back into the tops of the shoulders. You give a little squeeze. Then coming down onto the sternum, feel in between each of the ribs here and press in, pull apart, raking across the chest, making your way down to about the solar plexus and then running around to the back for spinal flesh. Press in and massage apart on each vertebra of the spine. All the way down towards the tailbone. And then reaching up and smoothing down the back 3 times. Space your feet wide, like goddess pose, and then bring the hands on top of the thighs, fingers in. And we'll take a twist here with 3 EM breaths, that cleansing breath, in through the nose, out through the mouth. We'll start with a long spine, breathing in at center. Exhale, left shoulder dips, look over the right. And here's where we'll take those 3 deep breaths. If there's any sound that wants to come on the breath, that might be unique to you. Okay, come back through center. Switch, right shoulder dips. Gaze over left shoulder, 3 breaths. Come back to center. Inhale, chest forward like cow. Exhale, round the spine like cat. Back into your yogic breath. In through the nose, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Really feel the tailbone draw underneath of you, the belly drawing in. And then roll it all the way up from your cat pose and step or hop the feet back underneath of you. Iliocecal Houston valve clear. Fingers in the crest of the hips, press in and draw up. Shake it off again. Once more. And one time from the top down. Wrap your left arm around the waist, and actually we're going to come into tree pose. So let's actually get our legs set up first. Let's bring the right foot up somewhere along the inseam of the leg. And start to find your balance here. And then wrapping into a triple warmer spleen hug. And just note which hand you have on the bottom. We'll switch it on the other side. Take a moment to find your grounding through that left foot and an equal press between thigh and foot, or calf and foot. You find this balanced and strong line through the inseam of the body, drawing up. Good, let's switch. Release that leg. You can shake it out if that feels good. And then bringing the left leg up. The hip bones gently narrow here. It gives you a little squeeze in the low belly. It draws the tailbone down. This gives you a nice firm anchor right in the center. And we'll find your triple warmer spleen on the other side. Really dynamic pose. A lot to pay attention to. And once you've found this inner balance of your posture, then can you take your attention to the outside? Open eyes that sees the whole room around you without necessarily focusing on any one point. Just a really open awareness in and out. We'll release from tree on this side and go into a little flow here. So you can take a step to the front of your mat. Bring your right knee up and lift your arms up for crane pose. Actually, I think it's stork pose. And then shoot that right leg back, coming into warrior one. You can ground your back heel and then bring the arms back up overhead. Lifting up through the torso, turning the chest relatively straight towards the front edge of your mat. And then into a warrior three. So the arms sweep back by your sides. They can go into airplane and hovering your right leg. We'll bring the feet together. All 5 fingers come together overhead like we do for our fire element. And then drop the thumbs right in front of the third eye. Drop the thumbs right down into the heart. Let the fingers rest in the base of the throat. And then drop the thumbs down to the belly button and flatten the hands on the lower belly. Again, like we do for our fire element. And then just sweep off the legs as you shake it off. And we'll go right into the other side. Lift your left thigh, reach your arms up. Sending the leg and arms back, finding the ground behind you for warrior one. Find your footing, and once you do, the arms come back up. Lots of space in the spine. Make sure you're not crimping the low back. Make sure there's enough space and openness there to stand tall. If not, you might stay leaned a little forward. You might shorten your stance. Warrior 3. Feet come together, arms come overhead, all the fingers touch. Breathe in, exhale, thumbs to crown. Thumbs to heart. Thumbs to belly button. And flatten the hands on the low belly. Brush off the thighs, shake it off. We're going to do that one more time. We'll go a little bit quicker, not much though. Follow your breath. Right thigh lifts, arms lift. Breathe in. Exhale, send it back. Warrior 1. Find your footing, sweeping arms up. Just one breath. And then back to your warrior 3, leaning forward. Feel the grounding in your left foot, drawing energy down into the earth. Simultaneously lifting up through the hips. Bring the feet together, arms come overhead, thumbs come to the crown as you breathe out. To the heart. Breathe in. To the belly button. Flatten hands. Sweep them off the thighs, shake it off, and one more time, other side. Left leg lifts, arms reach. Send it back, warrior 1. Arms sweep up. Warrior 3. Feet come together, fingers come together overhead. As you exhale, thumbs to crown. Breathe in. Thumbs to heart. Breathe in. Thumbs to belly. Flatten hands. Sweep off the thighs. Both feet stay grounded and both arms come up. Breathe in. Exhale, hinge from your hips, swan dive to fold all the way down. Let the head go. Plant your hands onto the mat, step your right foot back, left foot back, plank pose. Lower knees, chest, chin, 8-point salute, and slide through to your belly for cobra. Inhale, lifting up. Hold, toes point back. Release, triple warmer rock, head on back of hands. Shake your hips a little side to side. Find the stillness. And take a moment to check in with yourself. One more time to cobra, re-engage the legs, place the hands underneath the shoulders. Shoulders drawing back, press into the hands. Maybe you come up a little higher this time. Lower back down, press up through tabletop. Tuck your, actually let's sit back to child's pose for just a minute here. Knees wide, hips to heels. Stretch out that torso and arms. And then let's come back forward to table, tuck your toes, downward facing dog. Sweep your right leg up to the sky. Knee to nose, hover underneath, and then send your right leg out to the side of your mat. We're gonna lower down onto that right hip. So it's a little funky transition. We kind of have to roll onto the side. And then straighten the legs so they form a 90-degree angle. And we're going to twist the torso back down to the earth. You can rest on your forearms, or if you have a bolster, it might help. Let's take about 3 breaths here in this twist and hip opening posture. Allowing the outsides of the legs to get a nice stretch all the way through the hips. And coming back up onto the hands, bend your left leg so you can plant that left foot, and then use that left leg to come back to downward facing dog. You can stretch it out here a bit. We're going to go into the other side. So once you're ready, lift the left leg up to the sky, knee comes into the nose, and then send the left leg out to the side, rolling onto that left hip. And once you have that left hip on the ground, you can straighten out the legs and twist the torso down towards your mat. And take a few breaths here. Press up onto the hands. We're going to transition a little differently here. We're actually going to come into pigeon pose. So you can bend that right leg, and then we're going to bring the left knee to the left wrist. And you can use your hands to help position yourself here, bringing the left shin in front, and then you'll start to walk those right toes back. Now use props if that's helpful, sliding it underneath of the hips, or maybe having a pillow or a block ready in front of you to support the heart or the head. Now just taking a moment to get into position. The hips are square. That right toe is pointed straight back. The chest is forward. You can prop up onto fingertips for a little back bend. And breathe into the low belly. And then start to surrender into your resting pigeon. If you can find the space to do it here, you might do a rooster comb or some other head hold. You could just cover the eyes and forehead, cheeks, or temples. Whatever makes sense for you here. I've noticed that there's no pigeons here. There's doves here, but I don't think I've seen any pigeons here. So it's a great place to drop into sensation. Typically, quite a bit of sensation comes up in these hip opening postures. Just observing without judgment or without the story. Letting it be what it is today so that you can be open and be an active listener for your body, mind, spirit. Checking in with where you're at, maybe seeing if some space has been created. Maybe you lower, maybe you've already found your edge. Just a couple more breaths. And start to make our way back out. Say goodbye to this pigeon. Tucking the right toes so you can walk that right knee a little closer in, giving you more space to step the left foot back to table. And then just wag your hips a little side to side, or wag your tail You might notice a difference in the sides. You can find some organic movement here. And then we'll switch sides. We'll go right from our tabletop, or even almost like a plank pose, and swing that right leg through. Use your hands to help get yourself into position. Take the time, square off the hips, lifting up onto fingertips, opening the heart. And again, you don't have to find a big back bend. You can lean a little forward if that starts to crimp the back. And just as you're ready, move into your resting pigeon. We'll hold here again for a couple of minutes. If you found rooster comb on one side, you might switch now. Checking in with where you're at. Just a few more breaths. Beginning to press back up. See you later, pigeon. Now we're going to come to a seat here, so you can still tuck those left toes, walk the left knee in, and then roll down to your seat and come into cobbler's pose again, the feet together, knees apart. Hands on the ankles, and just wing your knees up and down like a butterfly. And bring your hands behind you, feet come to the mat but a little bit wide, and windshield wiper the knees side to side. So you're getting this internal, external rotation through the hips. It's kind of fleshing out that pigeon pose. Bringing some more dynamic movement into the hips. And then roll all the way down to your back. So once you come through center, you can hold on to the backs of the thighs and just roll yourself down. Bring the knees in towards the chest, a little more towards the side of the torso, like happy baby, and take a little rock side to side. And then reach for your big toes or the outside of your feet for happy baby, lifting the soles of the feet up. The back, the shoulders are drawing down towards the mat. The knees are drawing towards the armpits. Maybe just pause and breathe to start. And then if you feel that there's some movement that would be nice today or be helpful, feel free to take that. But just remember that it's also a really great option to find stillness. Sometimes the movement can even be distracting. Then bring your feet back down, knees gently in towards the chest. You can hold behind the thighs. And we'll take a little rock and roll along the length of the spine. Come to sit, feet on the mat, and then bring the hands behind you. We're going to come into reverse tabletop. We're going to add in a breath of fire today. So plant those hands, fingers point towards your feet. And when you're ready, press into your feet and lift up your hips. Take a breath, cleansing breath. Just a count of 9, fire breaths, short little exhales. Breathe in, pulse it out. Good, just 9. Let the seat come back down. Hands come to the knees. Lift up your chest. Inhale. Exhale, round the spine back like cat. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, round the spine back. Roll over the tailbone. Good, come back to center. One more time, back to, actually we're going to do 3 of these. So second time, back to reverse tabletop. Plant the hands, lift the hips. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale for a breath of fire. 9 quick exhales. Good, release back down. Hands to knees, same thing as before, just a couple cow-cat. Inhale, lift the heart. Roll over the seat, breathe back and out. One more time, inhale. Exhale, round it back. Good, lift up your crown, hands come behind you. Last time, breath of fire. Let's see if we can do a count of 27 this time. 3 times 9. Lift up your hips, find your reverse table. Cleansing breath. Inhale 3/4 way for a breath of fire. Pulse it out. Excellent. Lower the hips back down. Bring the hands to the knees. This time we're going to take a little twist. Sit up nice and tall. Breathe in. Exhale. Wrap your hands around the knees. Twist to your left. Left hand comes behind. We'll breathe here for a second. And switch. Left hand comes around the shins and knees. Right hand back. Tall crown. Twist to your right. And then come back to the middle and just hold behind your thighs here. Roll back over your tailbone and sacrum, just kind of rolling forward, backwards over the lowest part of your spine here. Little tuck of the tailbone as you roll. And then we're going to roll all the way down. So position yourself so you have space and bring it all the way down. Good. Bring your hands over top of your forehead, eyes, and cheeks. Take a moment here to slow down, to integrate. The time it takes to complete is up to the body. So we'll let the body tell us when to move on. Practicing patience and trust. Whatever that moment is that you feel complete here, you can rest the arms, come into Shavasana. You're welcome to stay here longer if you'd like. When you are ready, you can start to rock your head gently side to side. Left and right. And similarly to how we started, we're just going to find a little tension in the body, just kind of pulsing the blood and energy all through the body, but this time we'll get to engage the legs as well. So let's start with the toes, curling in the toes, and starting to squeeze the feet, squeeze the fingers in and the hands. Feel the calves start to engage, the quads, the forearms, the arms completely. Squeeze the whole body, face, eyes, shoulders, back, belly, and release it all. A little flutter of the lips might feel good for a full release. And we're just going to do that one more time. So squeezing everything. And when you're ready, release it all. Very good. Bend the knees. Roll over to your side. Gently press into the hands. Make your way to rise. Hands can rest wherever they feel called to go right now. Visualizing for just a moment a golden pulsating light at the base of your spine, like an egg or an orb, with light, with heat, the very base of your spine, and lightly floating, pulsating, and rising up into the belly, bringing the warmth with it as it rises, this golden elixir rising up into the heart. Golden elixir making its way, pulsing through your veins as it makes its way through the heart and pulsating up into the head, the top of the head, into the brain and the third eye, warmth, golden light. And flowing down through and into the throat, filling the chambers of the throat. Making its way through every cell of your being, into your aura, the radiance glowing from this inner light. Let's bring our fingertips together into Emi Mudra. Thumbs come into the heart, index fingers into the base of the throat. Just finding integrity as you sit in this final posture, high heart, open, energy releasing. Giving your gratitude for this morning, for this practice, for each other. And trusting the wisdom of the body to know what to do in every moment today. We bring our palms together in gratitude, a little bow of the head, and just sealing this practice in today with the sound of Om. Let's take a cleansing breath. And your last breath for Om.